What is up, Tube users? I'm the Stereotypical Gamer, and welcome back to another episode of Z to A. Today, we are diving into the odd world of Undertale. This is actually the first game in the Z to A series that I have not played whatsoever. I know of Undertale, of course, it's one of the most popular games out there, but I just never got around to playing it. So I was next up in the ZDA, so I was kind of excited to dive into it because I know very little about how the game works. I've obviously heard the soundtrack before, I've seen memes of the game before and all of that, but never actually sat down and played it. And so playing through like the first 30 minutes of it was really interesting, and I gotta say I had a lot of fun, and I definitely want to finish this game at some point. This game really does a great job at harkening back to like the old school handheld Game Boy kind of games. It really feels like one of those old school games, but with like updated mechanics and updated dialogue that kind of just brings it into this new era of gaming. It's really interesting, you know, and how combat works is super unique and super different. Like you don't have to fight everything. You can do other acts in order to try and get away from certain fights and stuff. It really seemed like all of the enemies that I quote unquote fought didn't really seem like they wanted to fight, and the just different ways things worked, like some like ghost creature that I fought I ended up killing, and I lost experience because I guess I wasn't supposed to. I mean, I'm just so used to fighting everything, but it's really interesting to see this new kind of mechanic play out in this game. And yeah, the dialogue is really what kind of got me interested, at least in the first part of the game, that kind of just hooked me in. You know, like the evil sunflower at the start of the game was really funny. There's some of the puzzles that like have you talk to certain animals and different things are really interesting, in the kind of dialogue that they have. And just like complimenting a frog here, I love the dialogue that it has. And I like the battle mechanics of like trying to avoid their attack with your heart or whatever. I really like that. I mean, fighting, I still don't fully understand the fighting mechanic, like what like bar I'm supposed to be hitting. If I'm supposed to be hitting the middle bar, that's what I basically tried for the entire time because it seemed like it did the most damage. Or if I'm supposed to hit the yellow or red bar, I'm not entirely sure. I always went for the black bar in the middle because it seemed like the best option. There's not really a tutorial for that, but it seems like this game it's more about the story aspect of stuff, and I'm guessing it really seems like the fighting is never necessary. So it'd be kind of interesting to do like a passive run at this game, but I mean, I play a lot of shooters, I play a lot of fighting games, and so my natural instinct is to fight things, and it gives me the option to, so I'm kind of just sticking to that. Yeah, but I love the feel of this game. It really feels like an old school Pokemon game where you just come into random encounters of enemies. It's not like you can catch them and use them and stuff, but definitely the turn-based fighting aspect, and just like how it's a random encounter with these enemies really does feel like a old school Pokemon game, and I really enjoyed that nostalgic aspect of this game. And I think the thing I loved so far the most is just the random interactions that you have. Like here in this puzzle room, one of the rocks is sentient, and so you have to like talk to him to convince the rock to move, which I thought was really funny. When you like first get left by the mother or whatever, I forget what her name was, she gives you a cell phone, and you can flirt with her, and then, or you can call her mother first, and then you can flirt with her, and there's like just some funny dialogue about, oh, that's super interesting after you called me mother, kind of thing. And I thought that was really funny. Some of just like the compliments you can give to the enemies, I guess, that you're trying to fight is really interesting. But I really haven't seen anything that like you want to act for, which it really made it seem like you should be trying these other options rather than just fighting, which, you know, I'm all for. But I will compliment them. I will try and like check on them, whatever, to try and help them out. But it never seemed to like do anything that was noticeable. So I mean, just fighting them until their HP was down seemed like the only way. Now, I haven't played very much of this game. This is my first time playing through it, so any help with that would be appreciated, because I definitely want to finish this game, because it really did feel fun to play in these first couple of moments, and I'm sure it gets a lot more complicated as things go on. So I would really love to understand more on how to approach different fights in the game. And obviously, I gotta say, I mean, Megalovania is probably one of the most popular songs in gaming music history. But I mean, I didn't hear that song in particular, but the soundtrack for this game is just so spot on perfect. It has that old 16-bit vibe. Just everything about it just harkens back to an old handheld. And I actually do think this game would be really fun to play on Switch, just to kind of bring back to like that old school handheld vibe. Yeah, so like for this guy, in particular, this ghost that I started fighting, it seemed like I would want to like check up on him, because obviously he doesn't seem well, but I didn't get any sort of like feedback from the things that I was trying to do, so I just ended up fighting him, and once you defeat him, you lose experience. So it was kind of confusing. I wish there was more to the acting side of things, and like seeing something pay off for doing something that like I should have done, you know. I get that some of the acting things won't work for certain characters, but it really just seemed like nothing worked for any character, because like I would fight characters that I had already fought, like the frog guy, and I've already tried any sort of act with him, and nothing works, so it just seemed like I had to fight him. Then I could show mercy at the end, but it really just didn't feel all that rewarding to try a different approach other than fighting. And maybe that's just a thing that comes with experience in this game, but I really like the idea of having different avenues to encounters in this game, but not seeing those avenues pay off is kind of what just made me go and just want to full fight in this game. Like, just not even care about anything else, because for the most part, I'm doing good damage and stuff, so it just seemed like fighting is the best option to avoid dying myself, you know. So I'd rather that than just trying to like comfort a creature and just have it not work over and over again, you know. But yeah, other than the fact that acting didn't really seem viable, at least for the start of the game, that was like really the only thing that kind of threw me off. But other than that, I really did enjoy playing this game. I think the puzzles in this first part, while pretty basic, were a lot of fun. I really did enjoy the fighting. The sound design of everything was really great. Obviously the dialogue was fantastic, and all of that really harkened in, and I really think that this game totally feels like an old school Game Boy game. And it did make me want to pick up my Game Boy and go back and play like the old school Pokemon games, because that's truly what it feels like. And it is crazy to think that this game is pretty modern. Obviously it's about 10 years old, I think, but it feels like a retro game in itself, which is just brilliant. It just gives so much nostalgia for this game, even though it's a brand new game for me. I've never played this game before, and so I really do want to play through it at some point, and maybe my next flip playthrough or something like that. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and especially just for having it for so long and just never playing it, just never going through it, and now finally just breaking that seal and playing through the first part of this game. It really does show that like going through my library Z to A is really paying off, and I'm finding great games that I probably wouldn't have played ever, And it is so nice and refreshing to go through my library Z to A and finally just come across. This was the first game that I legitimately had zero playtime in, and finally getting to play it and actually enjoying it. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of games that are like that I just haven't played at all, and I extremely enjoy playing. And so I'm really excited to see what's next in the library and what other great games that I just haven't discovered yet. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.